It was a peaceful summer evening in the rainforest of Cameroon in Africa. The date was August 21st, 1986, and it was 9:30 p.m. All of a sudden, loud rumbling was heard, causing confused people to awake and venture outside. Less than a minute later, these people who went to investigate fell to the ground lifeless. As a 50-meter or 164-foot-tall cloud of lethal carbon dioxide advanced across the landscape, it killed all humans and animals in its path. This killed almost everyone in a 10-kilometer or 6.2-mile radius, with fatalities among people and livestock occurring up to 25 kilometers or 15.5 miles distant of Lake Nyos, totaling more than 1,700 people. What had just occurred was a catastrophic release of 1.6 million metric tons of carbon dioxide gas in a short time span from Lake Nyos, and a rare natural disaster known as a Limnic eruption. For many years, it was assumed that limnic eruptions could only occur within Cameroon at specific lakes at certain volcanoes in the country, as since 1900 both limnic eruptions on the planet which were observed occurred within the country. Yet, one recent study showed evidence that a much larger limnic eruption occurred in sections of modern-day Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo around 2000 BCE at a section of Lake Kivu. However, this type of natural disaster does not merely occur or have the potential to occur in a narrow strip of Africa, as in recent years it was discovered that another volcanic lake can and has historically also produced limnic eruptions. And yet, many people who live adjacent to this lake in a separate part of the world are completely unaware that a similar hazard exists. What I'm referring to is the caldera lake of the Quilotoa volcano in Ecuador, which is known as Laguna de Quilotoa. This lake was the site of 4 limnic eruptions during the 18th century, the last of which occurred on February 4th, 1797. Of course, the previous and following statements are based on a scientific paper which could be wrong, but in my opinion is likely but not certainly accurate. Per a direct quote from a scientific paper which is referenced on screen, this event originated due to an earthquake under the Tungurahua volcano, generated flames and suffocating gases in the lake, and destroyed the cattle on the slopes of Quilotoa. If such a repeat event were to occur today, it could, in my opinion, result during a worst-case scenario in hundreds or thousands of casualties. Before I describe why limnic eruptions occur, let me first describe where they occur, as 4 factors are needed. All known limnic eruptions mentioned in this video occurred in a narrow range of latitudes between 8 north and 8 south. Specifically, it has occurred in parts of the world which essentially stay the same temperature year-round. With this being said, it is not unreasonable to assume that limnic eruptions could theoretically occur in a larger range of latitudes. The second factor is that a limnic eruption can only occur at a lake which is meromictic, meaning that it has 2 or more layers which do not intermix. Third, a persistent carbon dioxide source is needed which emits large volumes of gas into the body of water, which dissolves, and so far this has only been known to occur at certain lakes at specific volcanoes. Lastly, although limnic eruptions could originate at shallower lakes, all known lakes which have produced limnic eruptions are quite deep, being at least 91 meters or 300 feet deep at their deepest point. Limnic eruptions can occur when large volumes of carbon dioxide are dissolved in a lake which at some depth overlies a body of magma which produces the gas. This gas largely remains at depth in the lower section of a lake, not interacting with higher carbon dioxide pore layers. Eventually, if enough dissolved carbon dioxide is located in the lake, a limnic eruption might be triggered, whether it be through a volcanic eruption, an earthquake, or another possible reason such as a landslide. This causes the carbon dioxide dissolved in the bottom of the lake to rapidly rise to the surface, causing a runaway reaction where much of the carbon dioxide in the lake escapes in a short period of time. It thereafter advances downslope since carbon dioxide is denser than air, killing all animals and people the invisible cloud of gas encounters. Although a known limnic eruption has not occurred from Laguna de Quilotoa since February 4th, 1797, recent measurements suggest that an underlying magma chamber or perhaps cooling body of magma releases approximately 330 tons of carbon dioxide every day. Additionally, I want to note that limnic eruptions do not literally involve a lake exploding, as this has instead been a phrase popularized by the media to describe this natural disaster. Since this video might cause a commotion of sorts, I am including the following sentences in a rapid-fire Q&A format so this video's statements are not taken out of context. Am I telling people who live nearby or tourists to avoid Quilotoa and its surrounding area or evacuate right now? No. The area in question, in my opinion, is currently safe to visit and or live in. Is a limnic eruption of Quilotoa imminent? Is a limnic eruption going to occur this year? Do we know when its next limnic eruption will occur? The answer to these 3 questions is no, we don't know, and we don't know. This video was not made to scare tourists or people off, as the area is quite beautiful and interesting, as instead this video was made to make people who live in the region or tourists who plan to visit aware of an ever-present hazard which has always existed for the last several hundred years that they might have otherwise been unaware of. Thanks for watching. If you would like to request a specific topic, please leave a comment below. Additionally, I would like to thank this channel's patrons on Patreon and channel members on YouTube.